Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Heyo, guess what time it is? Welcome back to another episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing today, everybody? I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. I know I certainly have. In fact, I actually went on a little weekend vacation with the family. It was actually a very nice time and also a wonderful time. Now, let me tell you that for this episode, we definitely have an interesting batch of stories. There have been a lot of crazy things that have happened throughout the week, but don't worry, we're not going to dive into too many serious discussions like some of the previous times. This one, however, maybe at the start of it, it will be a little bit more somber, but the rest, I can guarantee you, will be a lot of fun, and we will have plenty of interesting discussions. Oh, and by the way, thank you so much, Odin Streams, for the subscription right there. That's really awesome of you. All right, so with that said and done, I think I don't really know what else to say, so why don't we go and actually begin this? So let me go and ask the chat wall. Everybody, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Are you ready? Let's see now. Yes. Oop, let's see. Okay. All right. That's great to see. People are prepared. People are set. So that is wonderful. And I believe with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And the first thing that I want to talk about is probably one of the biggest news that happened in the last week, but it's also one of the saddest and probably most serious news that we have for this episode. As you probably recall, in the past week, there have been several significant deaths that did occur, and a lot of very unfortunate ones. We have heard about the loss of Shinzo Abe, the longest-running Japanese prime minister who ended up getting shot, and he unfortunately died afterwards, so that was definitely a tragic loss for Japan. There was also actor James Caan, who has passed away, a legendary actor with a lot of very notable works, including The Godfather, Misery, Elf, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, and being one of the very few things that's actually good about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like, that movie was downright terrible, but there is nothing wrong or nothing bad that I could say about Tim. Like, Tim is actually really cool. But there is one other death, however, that I mainly want to go and focus on. And I know that usually when it comes to these deaths, usually I would save them for the opening, so as like a quick little respectable mention, but with this death in particular, this one feels a little bit more personal to me, especially when his work has very much influenced a good portion of my life. And who I am talking about specifically is in regards to Kazuki Takahashi. Yes, excuse me. I don't know why I was fumbling on my own words there. Kazuki Takahashi has sadly passed away recently at the young age of 60. And what happened to him, apparently it was reported to be an unfortunate snorkeling accident. Apparently his body was actually found near the coast of Okinawa Island, where he had his entire scuba gear, and his body was just floating off the coast, and the authorities have found him and has indeed identified him as Kazuki Takahashi. Now, apparently what happened, when the news came out, it was like all fairly recent and people were very much unsure as to specifically what happened to him. But as it turned out, some people have agreed that what is the cause of his death was apparently a shark attack, that he got too close to a reef shark. The shark went after his stomach and his lower parts, and that's what ultimately did him over. And that is why he sadly passed away at a pretty young age. Now, for those of you who don't necessarily know who Kazuki Takahashi is, he is actually the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh!, where in 1996, I believe, you could correct me if I'm wrong, he actually created the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga for Shonen Jump, which from there actually became a massive success. It ran all the way up to 2004, and immediately spawned off some major properties where Yu-Gi-Oh! Became a major, I would even say, billion-dollar franchise with all the different animes that it spun off, and especially the trading card game, which really went up there as one of, if not the biggest trading card game next to Magic and Pokemon. In fact, in this article here on the BBC, it actually did emphasize that by stating here, a decade later, the game gained the Guinness World Record for the best-selling trading card game in history, with sales of more than 22 billion cards, according to manufacturer Konami. The franchise also grew to include video games, books, toys, and figurines. And that's pretty much the big thing about this news, is that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has sadly passed away and is no longer with us. Now, one thing that I just want to go and state right now is that, to be very honest, I've never read the manga. When it comes to different mediums that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been featured in, I honestly have not read any of the manga, which I know that technically, as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, I should, but it's just something that never really crossed my mind, and I'm not necessarily an avid manga reader, to be very honest, but I have heard some crazy things that did happen, especially in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Believe it or not, how can I put this? Yu-Gi-Oh! During its very beginnings was very sadistic. It was actually Saw before Saw, where Yugi would, they would do the usual Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, but when Yami Yugi appears, he is a full-on psychopath. He would take these bad guys and he would put them in life or death situations that they would have to go and resolve by either playing games or solving puzzles or something like that. It was pretty, the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was extremely messed up. It wasn't until they fully commit themselves to playing the card game and playing Duel Monsters, that's when we got the Yu-Gi-Oh! That we do love. But anyways, this is to say that even though I have not read the manga, I was an avid watcher of the anime, and I used to play avidly the card game. In fact, I would say that not only did Yu-Gi-Oh! Take a significant portion of both my childhood and a little bit of my teen years as well, but the card game especially, I have played it for years. During the end of my childhood and especially throughout my teen years, I played a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. Honestly, I was almost obsessed with it. And going into the anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! I know, some people could argue in regards to the quality of the show and all that kind of stuff, but I remember when I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, not only was it my favorite anime, in fact, I would still say to this day that my favorite anime ever is Yu-Gi-Oh! But also, back then, I would even say it was one of my favorite pieces of animation, period. I loved it as much as the other shows I used to religiously watch, like SpongeBob SquarePants or What's with Andy. And when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh!, I know that from an outsider's perspective, it's absolutely ridiculous, where they really are just making a mountain out of a molehill and turn a whole situation of making a matter of life and death, and the only way that you could resolve it is playing a children's card game, where in this world they take it stupidly seriously, more seriously than any other political issue in this world. But even at that, though, as a kid, it was one of the most intense things that you could watch on television, and it's so easy to be engaged with it, especially to see all the different types of monsters that would show up during these duels. Like, it could be like, it knows how to pace itself well to feel absolutely epic. And I remember when I was a kid, like, it was the main series that I followed from beginning to end, from season 1 with Duelist Kingdom all the way to the end, where Yami Yugi went back in time to find his true identity and thus revealed that he was indeed Pharaoh Atem. And like, I know there have been some seasons that they have been awesome, like the duel, you know, like like the big tournament held by Kaiba Corp, like from season 2 and then there's season 4, like those are arguably the best ones. But then there are a few others that might be like not so great, like season 6 with that German guy as the new villain wasn't all that awesome. And there have been a few fluctuating things, but there have also been a lot of very iconic moments in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just absolutely love it. And not to mention, like, the personalities that are featured there are also, like, when you're a kid, like, they can so easily be on board, rather it be like the comic reliefness of Joey Wheeler, like the edgy, you know, like the edgy no care attitude of Kaiba, which honestly, like, the more I do think about it, Kaiba really is kind of a product of his time, because it's like only back during like the 2000s era would Kaiba be considered an admirable figure, where nowadays Kaiba would just seem like an imitation to like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. So like, if there's any reason why people like Kaiba, is because, well, he was likable back then, because yeah, he's like the rich billionaire dude who's trying to be all edgy and wants to be the best at duel monsters. And then, of course, you can't forget Yugi himself, where there is the small Yugi, you know, that's the shy, timid little kid, and definitely shorter than everyone else. You could say he's a little bit of the avatar of the entire group, where if you imagine yourself in this world, you would place yourself as Yugi. And then, of course, you got Atem, or Yami Yugi, as many people know, where like you got the cool, serious version, kind of like, you know, the admirable alter ego. And then, of course, like you got all the other characters, like you got Tristan, you got Mokuba, and then you got Taya, which I just want to be very honest with you guys. Taya, believe it or not, is actually my first anime crush, or I would even go as far and say like probably my first animated crush as well. I know some people would probably prefer My Valentine, or some people really go for Dark Magician Girl, but for me, I actually really like Taya, or Anzu for you for those who actually prefer the Japanese translation. She kind of has this sweet girl next door kind of vibes that honestly, like, she's the kind of girl that like you would be down to go on a date and actually be in a relationship with. Like with Mai, however, she's more the kind of girl that you could easily see that she prefers one night stands and then just move on. Like, you know that game of like bang, marry, kill? It's like, I would bang Mai, I would marry Taya, and for kill, honestly, I'll like, I don't know. I don't know any of the girls in Yu-Gi-Oh that I'd really want to kill, but you know, probably if there was one that I would go and add, probably like Yami Merrick, or you know what? No, Weevil Underwood. I don't know if there's anybody who unironically likes Weevil Underwood, like that stupid bratty little kid. Like, ever since like he threw away Yugi's Exodia cards, like in one of the first episodes, it's like I think it pretty much cements his hateability, and like everybody would just want him dead. So yeah, like if there's one that like we would easily want to kill in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh world, it would have to be Weevil Underwood. But yeah, and this also includes like many of the other like characters that that are featured as well. Many of the one-offs can be quite memorable, like the two twins, that like the two monk twins that are like the gate guardian type of players, or like you got the one that has the mask that has the alternative of Dark Magician and put Yu-Gi-Oh on this saw-like contraption that's a little bit of a throwback to the old Yu-Gi-Oh from the early days, or like you got some of the other like prominent characters, like of course Merrick Ishtar, the go-to villain. And I gotta say, like, honestly, like, there are some parts in Yu-Gi-Oh that could also be freaky, including the times when Taya would be possessed. So, like, you can imagine, like, how uncomfortable I feel of how my anime crush suddenly gets possessed, and then you see, like, the dead eyes, like, on her face. Like, it does get freaky, including the warped voice. Like, it can be a little, like, disturbing at times. But then, there are plenty of also like a lot of memorable moments as well. But yeah, this is all to say that I adore the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and I used to watch it so much as a kid. Now, when it comes to the other franchises as well, no, not the other franchises, but when it comes to the other shows, like, honestly, that's when I started to like kind of like move on from like the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Like, honestly, it was really from Yu-Gi-Oh GX, where I felt like it was a lot weaker than the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime series. And I don't know if it's like I gave up halfway through, or it's like a few seasons in, and then I ultimately decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm not really as into it. I'm not a big of a fan of Jaden Yuki compared to Yugimoto, so I'm just ready to just fully move on from that. And honestly, I haven't even seen any of the other animes from Yu-Gi-Oh, like 5Ds or Zexal or Zeal, however you pronounce it. Like, any of the other Yu-Gi-Oh series that happened afterwards, I didn't honestly really watch, and I kind of just move on from there. And yes, I mean, like, some people will probably ask, like, even the movies as well. I remember, like, Yu-Gi-Oh Pyramid of Light. Oh my god. Like, that thing for me is a personal nostalgic trip. I remember back when I was a kid, I used to watch it like several times on the big screen. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh the movie is one of those films that I would put it like the most that I've ever seen while it was on the big screen. And I remember, like, crazy enough, like, during the time when everybody went to go and watch Avengers Endgame on the big screen, like back in 2019, I was actually one of the few people that instead I went to go see Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie Pyramid of Light, and it was just an absolute blast. And yes, I will say, nothing about it makes sense. Even if you're a major Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, even if you know the anime, it doesn't make sense, but it's like one of those turn off your brain and just have a good time kind of movie. So yeah, I used to be a major fan of the anime. And then there was also the card game, in which I remember I used to be like fully on board back like when it was relatively new, back when like one of the first few sets were released. Like, I think it was during either Metal Raiders or Magic Ruler, like the second or third box, like the second or third set that ever did come out. And when I was a kid, like, I started out as a major collector, like buying like numerous of packs and like trying to collect every single card that I have or that I could get. But then eventually I started playing the actual game itself, where I would go to local game shops and I would just go and play Yu-Gi-Oh! On a weekly basis, where my parents would go and drive me to the local place, and they would go and eat at the restaurant that would be nearby. And I used to do that for several years. Like, it used to be like on Fridays that I would do that, on Friday evenings after school. And then I would move on to like another card shop where I would do that with like on the weekends and play local tournaments. Now, I'm just going to go and say this right now, that I am not really that good when it comes to the card game. Like, yeah, I am an avid player, or I was an avid player, but I wasn't really. Oh my god, like, I just noticed the chat wall right now, and like even one person is referencing freaking like in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Chaz it up. Oh my god, the freaking Chaz, man. Oh, it just brings back memories. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about with the card game, it really was like I used to play it a lot, but I wasn't necessarily great at it. You know, like it was just like a hobby that I like to play for fun. I wasn't taking it as full on seriously as the others. Like I didn't have like the top meta decks that they would have at the time. Like back then, I was just playing with some simpler decks like, you know, like Gladiator Beast or Six Samurai, which was probably my best deck back then because that was the one that got me the most to like any of the top, you know, any like the top 8 or the top 4 at my locals. And by the way, before anyone asks, yes, I did have a Toon deck. Technically I still have my decks and I still do have my Toon deck. It's just, it does need a significant update considering how the meta is right now. And I used to play it like, you know, I used to play it as a hobby and like, it was a moment for me to like get out of the house and to socialize a little bit with other people. And yeah, some other people, like they could be, you know, they could range from being pretty cool and some can be a pretty douchey, you know, it's kind of like a bar environment, but for like geeky little teenagers like myself. But then eventually, like with the anime, I did end up growing out of it, mainly because of how the meta would consistently change every season and how, not just with the meta, but also with how they keep introducing new card types. Like back then in Yu-Gi-Oh!, like back in the 2000s and even in the early 2010s, it was pretty simple enough. Like you got your monsters, you got your spell cards, and you got your trap cards. But then suddenly they start introducing new types of monsters for people to play with. And like some of them, okay, they could be easily understandable, like synchros, white cards in which like you take a tuner monster and a regular monster and you calculate the number of stars they have, you combine them together and you make the synchro monster. Okay, like, yeah, it would take some time to learn, but okay, understandable enough. And some cards were actually really, really cool. And then suddenly, a few years later, they introduce Xyz monsters. And that one seems like a simpler concept than synchros. Okay, and then at that point, all right, well, like, I'll go along with it. Sounds pretty cool. It does change things up with the game, but okay, it's understandable. But then suddenly they introduce pendulum monsters where it's like orange on top and then green on bottom. And not only is it so are the rules on that so convoluted, but they make the game feel pretty broken. And that's the point where like after the introduction of those, that's where it kind of broke me a little bit, where it made me say, okay, you know what? Like, I think I might be done with this, where basically with the harsh reality of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that like you play the game, like, yeah, you'll keep playing the game, and in order to stay on top, in order to keep being good, you have to invest like hundreds of dollars on what is basically shiny pieces of cardboard. So honestly, at that point, and especially with how the rule with how some of their effects and what they do, it gets a lot more convoluted. And now it's at the point where players have to spend like 10 minutes on their turn to keep activating different effects and searching for cards in their decks and their graveyards and all that kind of stuff. Like, it ended up being so convoluted to the point where I decided, you know what, I want to save up on some money and I just want to go and move on. So that's what I ultimately did. And at that point, I heard the game kept on changing, and they even introduced a brand new type of monster called Link Monsters, which really did change up the game to the point where now the trading card game is no longer that recognizable for someone like me. Like, if I ever decide to just go back to playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, it would take me a lot of time to actually get familiar with like how the game works right now, because it's certainly not like the old days of Yu-Gi-Oh! I can definitely tell you that. And also one thing that, like, especially like even from my beginnings with collecting cards to like playing the card game, one thing that I've always admired when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh cards is the artwork in there. Like, they are so creative and they are always so beautiful to look at. They're always, you know, they're always a nice surprise, and they're always very fascinating to look at. So that's actually something that I've always admired with the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. In fact, I did hear that there actually is an art of book that is nothing but the artwork that they have done for many of the classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whether it be like with Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, Harpy Lady, or Red Eyes Black Dragon, or any of the more iconic cards. Like, they have done an art of book, and I should consider looking into that. But the whole thing, the whole point that I am trying to make is that there has been a significant factor of my life that really has been dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh, rather it be watching the anime or playing the card game. And going back to our subject with Kazuki Takahashi, like, honestly, it's like with that kind of influence and how so much of my life has been dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh, this to me personally is one of the most tragic deaths, or possibly the most tragic death, like even more so than Gilbert Gottfried, because of how this man, like with his creation of Yu-Gi-Oh, with how the manga has evolved into this massive franchise, has really influenced my life. That really, kind of really helped me, like, to help me become a bit more social with the card games, or to help me, like, really get into animation with the anime, or even with another thing with the anime that has fully introduced me to voice acting as a job. Like, some of the first voice actors that I have admired by name and getting familiar with who they are, it's actually the actors of 4Kids, because back then I used to watch, like, not just Yu-Gi-Oh, but a bunch of other, like, 4Kids content, rather it be through Kids WB or the Fox Box, or like 4Kids when they had their own block. Like, I was familiar with a lot of the actors that were there, and they were some of the first actors that I've highly admired, and some of which I still consider to be my idols, rather it be Dan Green, or Wayne Grayson, or Eric Stewart, or Amy Berbrome, I think that is her name, the one who voiced Taya. And yes, by the way, I used to watch the English dub, of course. And with all that, like, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh has pretty much influenced my life, and it played a significant portion to how I've become an animation fan today. Like I said before, Yu-Gi-Oh used to be one of my favorite pieces of animation, right up with or one of my favorite animated shows ever, like right up there with SpongeBob, What's with Andy, and several others. And that's why it is very unfortunate that, honestly, I owe so much gratitude to this man to pretty much play a factor into helping me shape who I am today. And while I have mostly moved on from my Yu-Gi-Oh phase, like, I still look back fondly at it. I still look fondly at the times that I really got engaged and got excited at whatever epic duels that Yugi would have to face, or like whatever big tournaments that he has to be involved with, like the big duelist tournament, the big dueling tournament that Kaiba was holding up, or anything like that. It's just so fascinating to see how they would go and just bring that to life. Or even when playing the card games, I still have fond memories of them, and they are, like, when playing the game, they can be a lot of fun. Although there have been times when also I can confirm that they can indeed suck. And I'll just even say right now that a lot of the stereotypes that you may hear about players who play like these card games, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, in the words of Harrison Ford in The Force Awakens, it's true, all of it. The odor, the sausage fest, everything. No, okay, well, for real though, I'll say that it's mostly true. It doesn't necessarily reflect on literally everyone who plays these trading card games, but it does reflect like the vast majority of them, where I have gone into actual like regional tournaments and stuff like that, and I can confirm to you from the ones that I have been in, yeah, like I would say at minimum, 98%, it's all men. If there's a girl who's actually there and playing in the tournament, is about as likely as a shiny Pokemon. Maybe things have changed nowadays and there are more girl players who do play Yu-Gi-Oh! But back then, like, they were extremely rare. And not to mention the odor. Holy crap. Like, yeah, those players will probably know how to synchro 4 monsters and fusion summon 2 additional ones in a single turn, but they don't know how to frickin' shower. That odor in there, like, honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments should have mask mandates. Not because of, like, any COVID reasons, but because it's at least it's a way to protect you from the smell of it all. Like, oh my god, it can be pretty bad. But yeah, anyways, back to what I was saying with Kazuki Takahashi overall, with this, with everything that he has done, honestly, I do owe a good part of my life to him, and that's why the more that I do think about the fact that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is no longer with us, the more that it kind of hurts. Like, it is very, like, it just feels like it feels sad and kind of painful that possibly the man, like the Japanese man who has influenced my life so much, debatably more so than like Hayao Miyazaki, or even on par with like the Nintendo people like Shigeru Miyamoto, that he's gone. And it's just, I just wanted to have a little bit of a moment to reflect upon how Yu-Gi-Oh! Played such a huge part of my life, and that really his creation has really did like played a significant role in making me who I am today. So honestly, Takahashi-san, thank you so much for what you have done with Yu-Gi-Oh! And may you rest in peace. All right, so that's my big comment that I do want to go and make, my big personal comment in regards to the entire thing with the passing of Kazuki Takahashi, and how I've played, and how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has played a big role in my life so much. And I want to know from you guys, how do you feel about the passing of Kazuki Takahashi? And especially, if you have any fond memories of Yu-Gi-Oh!, I would love to know what you think, and I would love you to go and share your story. So please let me know what you think. Let's see now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been one of my favorite series ever since my childhood, and it remains a special interest to me even to this day, whether it's the manga, the anime, the cards, or the games. It has even helped me make some friends in recent years. So losing Kazuki Takahashi at the age of 60 is quite shocking for me, and it truly breaks my heart. So in honor of Takahashi, I'm planning to marathon all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series later on. Rest in peace, Kazuki Takahashi. Thank you for everything. Oh boy, you got a lot to go through. I mean, like if you're planning to do all the series, like not just the, like, are you just doing the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Series with just Yugi? Or are you doing all of them, like with GX, 5D, Zexal, and all that stuff? Because if it's the latter, oh boy, you might have more than a month to go through. Oh, let's see what else we got here. I used to be obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid, and the reason for that is because of the action and simping over Dark Magician Girl. And after seeing this really breaks my heart. This is why I don't go snorkeling on a whole lot. I don't go out snorkeling a whole lot because of the dangers in the ocean. May Kazuki Takahashi rest in peace and will be missed. Also, fun fact, if you stay still underwater for a little bit long, the shark will swim away. Well, unfortunately, that didn't seem to be the case of what happened. This is a tragic thing to hear. I also have fond memories of the show on Kids WB and playing the card game with my friend. My favorite card was Machine King. While I'm not as involved with it, I have even revisited the franchise thanks to the movie Dark Side of Dimensions and Legacy of the Duelists on the Switch. Hope Atem greets Takahashi in the afterlife. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this right now, to be honest, people. Like, I know, like, I've talked so much about like how I was a major Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but I have actually yet to watch any of the later films like Dark Side of Dimensions. I know I should, but I don't know. It's just something that like was always an afterthought and I never really caught up to, like it came out like after like I moved on from both the anime and the card games. So like maybe one day I will check it out, but yeah, it's just something that I have yet to actually do. Anyways, what other comments do we have? Let's see. I have seen some episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back when it was on Cartoon Network, along with GX as well. And that time as a kid, I was a bit invested with that show and even remember collecting some cards until I grew out of it as time goes on. It is one of those anime shows alongside with Pokemon and Bakugan that I remember being invested in a long time, but hearing the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has passed away was sad, along with James Caan from Elf and the Cloudy films as well. So may they rest in peace. Let's see what else. It is definitely a tragic loss, I'll be completely honest. I am not really a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And never really got into either the card games or the show. I won't deny how much of an impact it left in pop culture alongside stuff like Pokemon. So all I could say is rest in peace, Kazuki Takahashi, and may your legacy live on forever. Although most I know about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the whole body odor penalty. Yeah, that's how bad it is, folks. That's how bad it is. In tournaments, there actually is a legitimate penalty if you don't shower. That's how bad some of the situations can get. And like from some of the tournaments I went into, yeah, it's a penalty that needs to be implemented. Let's see. What other comments do we have here? Any other words that some people might want to say? Would there be any other comments? Maybe I'll just go with one more. All right. Did you know 4Kids Senior Vice President of Digital Media Mark Kirk also explained during an interview with Anime News Network that US TV broadcast law dictates that Duel Monster cards were not allowed to look exactly like the real cards that are sold. Otherwise, the show would legally be considered a commercial rather than a cartoon, and the cost to air it would be exponentially higher. And that's that's actually kind of funny because it is true. And that does actually make sense because when you do watch the anime, the cards look radically different than how they actually do in the game. Like that was one thing that for me was pretty shocking to see in Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie Pyramid of Light, is how the cards actually did look exactly like the cards that we would have in our own possession. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! They are completely different, where the artwork would be on top and the rest would be on the bottom, or not even everything. It's just like the number of stars in there, maybe the type, and the attack and defense, like the attack points and the defense points, and that is it. So that is actually kind of an interesting fact, and that's like one of the controversies and one of the things that people talk negatively about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that some people feel like it was too much of a commercial for like the card games and stuff like that, not necessarily knowing the fact that it actually all started with a manga and then it just kind of grew from there. But yeah, all this to say, may Takahashi rest in peace and may the legacy of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever live on, even if it looks even if it seems completely different than how I was as a kid. Okay, folks, it is now time. We're going to go into our next story. And with this one, I feel like, you know what? It was a bit of a little tragic story, and I did go a little bit personal talking about my connection with Yu-Gi-Oh! In my life and all that kind of stuff. So why don't we go and actually lift up the mood a little bit? Let's actually go into a happier subject. In fact, we are going to go into one that was actually rather surprising, and it definitely did surprise me. I thought this was something that was canceled, but lo and behold, even after all these years, it's still alive and well. And what I'm going to be talking about is in regards to one of the new projects by Genndy Tartakovsky. You probably do recall previously, or in, I believe it was last week's episode, in which I actually talked about the new trailer of Season 2 of Primal. And I stated that I loved Primal. I thought it was possibly the best adult animated series that we had in recent years, and that I'm honestly fully excited for Season 2 to come out. And in this particular article right over here by Entertainment Weekly, they would actually go and have a chat with Genndy Tartakovsky in order to go and promote Primal Season 2. And of course, they would talk about what to expect in Season 2, how was the production during Season 1, how Genndy Tartakovsky felt about the positive reception and all the Emmys that he has gotten. But also, another thing that they have talked about is in regards to the other upcoming projects that Genndy Tartakovsky has. Specifically, it's like right at the end, the final question that the interviewer has asked Genndy Tartakovsky when mentioning, can you talk about your other upcoming projects? And he did get into Unicorn Warriors Eternal, his next upcoming Cartoon Network show. And that he mentioned how he tried for 18 years to pitch it to so many different companies, but ultimately it has found a home at Cartoon Network, and that it will be very reminiscent to Cartoon Network shows such as Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, the Powerpuff Girls, like all those nostalgic stuff. In a way, it'll be like a brand new original show that will be like a throwback to the classic times of Cartoon Network. But the one in particular that I want to talk about is not necessarily Unicorn, but something that I thought it was dead, but nope, it looks like it was just getting started. So let me go and read you specifically the little quote here from my source on Entertainment Weekly, as it states, "We finally started Fixed, which is the rated R 2D animated movie about a dog who finds out he's going to get neutered in the morning. And what does he do with his next 24 hours? That one I've been trying to sell for 12 years. It's going to look really good, and it's got heart, but then it's got the super raunch. I've never really seen anything like it." And while there is no other confirmation as to when this is going to be coming out, if we have a specific release date or where it's going to be released, I will get into that later. We don't have an announcement in terms of the cast or anything, but what we do know so far is that Fixed is officially going to be happening, that Genndy has officially started on that new project. And I just got to say right now, and I know like some people might want to call me out on this, but yes, I was indeed wrong about the fate of Fixed, because we have heard about this movie for years. Like, we've heard for so long that at Sony Animation, Genndy Tartakovsky wanted to direct this R-rated comedy about a dog that's about to get neutered and all that kind of stuff. And we've heard that for like so long, but we've never seen any particular progress in terms of what's actually going on. Like, they just, you know, like, it always felt like the production was on hold. There was no confirmation. There was no official release date or anything like that. And it felt like several other projects were getting higher priority compared to Fix, like Mitchell's vs. the Machines or Vivo or like several of the other Sony Animation movies that came afterwards. And like a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago, like not long ago, I do remember there was the announcement, or I think it was probably last month, but you probably do remember the news of Genndy Tartakovsky, where he signed a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network, where now he's gonna go and work on work on projects for them, rather it be movies or TV shows, or rather it be completely original stuff, or already existing properties from Warner Brothers. Like, now, like, he has that new major job going on there. And at that time, I thought that the Sony Animation projects that he was working on, like Fixed and Black Knight, I thought they were dead. I thought it was pretty much like, okay, well, their fates are pretty much sealed, and those projects are pretty much canceled. Or at least, like, I was mostly confident on that. But at least when it comes to Fix, it turns out that, guess I was wrong. And not only that, but we also got the confirmation that now it's going to be 2D animated, which is going to be interesting because it's been a while since we've seen anything. Well, okay, maybe not true because of, because of Primal, but honestly, like, it is going to be very interesting that we're going to have a 2D movie from Genndy Tartakovsky. Like, we've seen what he can do with 2D with projects such as Samurai Jack or with Primal, or even what we're going to have soon with Unicorn Warriors Eternal. But now taking his 2D skills and taking that 2D style and implement that onto a feature film, that could be interesting. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but hey, we're gonna get a brand new 2D movie. And not only that, a 2D R-rated animated feature film. That's something you haven't heard like every day, you know? Like that, like normally when you would say that, you would just think about like stuff made by Ralph Bakshi and that's it. But now here comes Genndy Tartakovsky with this brand new project. However, there is one thing that I do want to comment that I feel a little bit suspicious about. And I could totally be wrong, but I'm just putting it out there as a little bit of a theory, and it might sound a little bit crazy, but there is a part of me that feels like there is that chance that with this announcement, I don't know if it's actually being made at Sony Animation. Now, I know it sounds weird, but the thing is that, yeah, we know that, like, you know, they've been developing it for years at Sony Animation, but you gotta keep in mind, Genndy did not necessarily specify that this would be made, like, he didn't necessarily say that it's going to be made at Sony Pictures Animation. He just said that we finally started Fixed. And nowhere in this entire article does he even mention about like still working at Sony Animation or anything like that. Like the most that we know about Fix is from this one little article right here. And I feel like it would probably make more sense if Warner Brothers Animation could actually go and create this Fix movie. And the reason why I say that is because technically, like Warner Brothers Animation has a lot more experience in not just producing 2D animated content, but to actually create R-rated 2D animated content and even releasing R-rated 2D animated movies, such as the case with some of the Batman movies, like not too long ago with The Long Halloween, The Killing Joke, and maybe a few, and even like not long ago with one of the Mortal Kombat animated movies as well. And again, like I'll admit that I could totally be wrong on this, but I just have a feeling that with his new deal, that maybe he carried his idea of Fix, and Warner Brothers Animation or Cartoon Network is far more willing to go and try this out, more so than at Sony Animation. Now, I know technically there is like one argument that could totally like prove me entirely wrong, and I did search it up, and apparently on Sony Animation's website they still have Fixed as part of their upcoming projects. Like they still have Fix as a movie that they say is coming soon, and yes, this is officially from Sony Animation's website, and apparently it is still listed that they are still at work on this feature film. So that could be one argument that would completely debunk my theory. You know, it would prove me completely wrong about that. But then again, it is worth mentioning that even if this is even if this is Sony Pictures' official website, it's not necessarily that much of a reliable source. Sounds crazy, I know. But do you guys remember that little incident, last year when it came to Hotel Transylvania Transformania, where the website stated that it would be coming out in theaters on early October, and then when the movie, and when that date passed, it wasn't even released in theaters, and it left so many people confused. And it pretty much exposes how the people at Sony Pictures, they don't really do a good job when it comes to updating their stuff. So honestly, even if they do have Fixed listed in one of their upcoming projects for Sony Animation, I would still take this with a grain of salt, because they can be a bit negligent when it comes to making these updates on that website right over here. But then again, I just wanted to state that as a little bit of a theory. Again, I could totally be wrong about this, and it is still going on at Sony Animation. In fact, if there is some confirmation to it, I would love to see it. But for now, considering that Sony Animation is still a little bit silent about it, and that Genndy Tartakovsky didn't specify that he is still at Sony Animation working on Fix, I feel like there is a chance that it is currently in production at either Warner Brothers Animation or at Cartoon Network. But there is one other theory that I do have, and this one, honestly, I feel a little bit more confident, more so than the Warner Brothers or Sony theory that I mentioned before, and that is regarding the fact that I would be shocked if this movie were to be released on the big screen. I feel like the chances of that are extremely unlikely. Like, keep in mind, like, you got to consider this, folks. This is not just a 2D animated film, but an R-rated 2D animated film. You know that those types of movies, they never do well at the box office. Even when it comes to R-rated animated films in general, like, yeah, they can turn a profit, like we've seen with Sausage Party, but that would be because they would have like a ridiculously cheap budget. Like the budget of that thing is like near impossibly low to work with. And in regards to that, it just feels a bit difficult to imagine that either Sony or Warner Brothers, whoever is producing it, that they would be willing to take that and they would probably display that on the big screen. It's just a little bit, it's just hard to really imagine. And I mean, like another great example to what I'm talking about is with the Bob's Burgers movie. I mean, that's not R-rated, but that is a 2D PG-13 movie that is meant for older audiences instead of just little kids that want to go and rush to the theaters to watch something like Minions: The Rise of Gru. And when you look at the box office numbers on that, it's just, yeesh. Like, honestly, the box office numbers of Bob's Burgers, it makes Lightyear look like Minions: The Rise of Gru. I'll just go and put that out there. So honestly, I can't really imagine this being on the big screen, and I feel like it's highly more likely that it would either be a Netflix exclusive or an HBO Max exclusive. That sounds like it makes a lot more sense that for this type of movie, it would just immediately be released on streaming so that like frat boys and adult parties, that they would get drunk and they would just put that up on the big screen to make the mood a lot more chaotic and crazy and a lot more fun, Like, it's the kind of thing that feels like it makes a lot more sense that they would go and put it out on streaming services more so than just on the big screen. But again, all this is my theory. It's just my opinion on this entire situation, and I could totally be wrong on it. Maybe it is still Sony Animation working on Fix, and maybe they will go and release that on the big screen, but I'm just putting out my thoughts on this entire situation, and I just feel like there might be a side where I feel like it's likely on a different direction than what people may possibly perceive. But either way, regardless of who's working on it and regardless of where it's going to be released, the fact that Fix is still happening and that it's going to be a 2D movie is a little bit of a miracle in itself. And yeah, I know that I've not necessarily been kind on Genndy Tartakovsky with his directorial works on the Hotel Transylvania films. Maybe he could find a way where the Genndy Tartakovsky we know from television can find a way onto Fix. And this is something that is technically completely different, so maybe it could work out amazingly. And especially that we have seen recently how Genndy Tartakovsky is amazing when it comes to adult-oriented work. Maybe, honestly, I am curious on this, maybe there's a small part of me that might be a little bit hesitant that this could end up being just an adult Hotel Transylvania. But you know what? I'm going to come in optimistically and see how things will go. We don't know when things, when this is going to be coming out, but we do know that this is indeed happening. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what is your opinion about the fact that Fix has officially started production, that Genndy Tartakovsky is indeed at work on his R-rated dog comedy? Are you guys excited for it? Are you guys a little bit worried? Do you have any concerns? Let me know what you all think on this. Okay, let's see now. Not only does this concept sound really funny, I'm talking Secret Life of Pets if it were directed by a Tenacious D album, but it being a 2D animated movie, dude, I am so there. I've always vouched for the return of 2D in theaters, which is partly why I supported the Bob's Burgers movie, and also to sneak a McDonald's cheeseburger into the screening. So if this gets released in theaters, I'll be 100% down. If it released in theaters, of course. Good God, Sony, please release it in theaters. I don't know, man. You gotta consider, if it is from Sony, they really are buddy-buddy with Netflix, especially with Sony Animation, so, we'll see. Let's see now. This is really exciting. Fix sounds like a really interesting and unique animated film, and the fact that it's going to be 2D and R-rated is really exciting. So I can't wait to see what Genndy Tartakovsky has in store. Also, I do think it would be a better idea to release it at Warner Animation Group, considering how Warner Animation Group does need a bit of a boost for their animated films, considering they don't have the best track record. Okay, just to clarify, it's not Warner Animation Group. That's a completely different studio. I'm talking about Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network. With Warner Brothers Animation, they're the ones that would mainly do the animated shows for like that involve like DC characters or Looney Tunes characters, and they would be the ones to do the direct-to-DVD movies that we would get in recent years, like for Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry, or for Batman, or for whatever. So keep in mind that there is a distinct difference between Warner Animation Group and Warner Brothers Animation. Let's see, what other comments do we have? So my guess, Genndy's Fix will be released on Netflix or HBO Max. He's primarily working at Warner Brothers as the head of animation. Well, okay, maybe not necessarily the head of animation. You know, he just signed on a multi-year deal to work exclusively, not exclusively, to work primarily for them. Seeing how animation in theaters is in a somewhat precarious situation, I think a 2D R-rated animated movie that's not an anime or based on an animated series is still pretty niche. I find the reactions hilarious and entitled due to how they want it to be an action film with animated blood and gore and not a raunchy comedy. I'm interested in seeing it though. All right, let's see. I knew that Fix isn't dead, but making it a 2D animated film, that is something I didn't expect Genndy would do. In fact, we have not seen an R-rated 2D animated film since forever, and I would be down for this film. If it is still made at Sony Animation, I do wonder what source Sony will use, since they primarily use ImageWorks to provide the animation for their movies. Yeah, that is actually going to be pretty interesting, and it's going to be tough to say. I know that technically they have done some 2D work in the past, primarily for some of their feature films, like with the Hotel Transylvania movies, for example. Like during the credits, they would have like that Saturday morning cartoon like 2D animation. Like even with Transformania, like they did it in the style of Cow and Chicken. Like it really looked like something made by David Feiss, and that they kind of took that style and used that for the credits. So maybe they got some sources, but it's hard to really, it's honestly hard to really say where they would go outside of ImageWorks. But then again, like with ImageWorks right now, I think like they got their hands full, especially with the few movies that they have, and that a huge portion of their crew is working on the Spider-Verse movies. Let's see what else we got here. What other comments would we have? I definitely am excited about Fix. I am a casual fan of Genndy Tartakovsky's works like Samurai Jack, so I am looking forward to this. I want this to be in theaters, but I don't think that's going to happen and will be released on Netflix or HBO Max. Overall, I'm keeping my eye on this, and I'm hoping that it'll be better than Hotel Transylvania. Well, aren't we all? Let's see. Let's see. Honest question for Matt. Regarding Genndy's lore, do you think Sedusa from Powerpuff Girls' hair powers was somewhat of an inspiration for the concepts of Helen Parr? Also, would you consider Sedusa slash I'm a good lady as a legitimate waifu without the evilness and the sentient hair, or even Cerebellum? Well, honestly, I think they're like, those are completely separate things. Like, I don't know, like maybe, but I don't know. Like that would be more like, you gotta ask the animators at Pixar if there is that inspiration. But in terms of like waifus, like, okay, Sedusa, I mean, like, if you're really into a bad girl, maybe. Miss Bellum, on the other hand, total waifu, total top tier waifu. I would even say one of my own waifus, actually. All right, I think I'll go with one more comment, and then we'll move on to the next story. Primal is good. I do hope this movie becomes a good R-rated animated dot comedy for Genndy. I also appreciated that it's going to be in 2D, so I don't want to turn into another sausage party mess and become one of the stereotypical mediocre adult cartoons that's just all raunchy and edgy without substance. Honestly, I don't know if I could do any promises on that. I got a feeling that, yeah, considering that we're talking about a movie about a dog who's about to get neutered, I think, like, the edgy raunchiness is to be expected. Like, I think a good portion of the movie is going to include a lot more sex jokes than one may even think. Even the amount that you're probably thinking right now, it'll be more than that. But, yeah, I mean, it's still very early on. We don't know when it's going to be coming out, but we'll see what happens. All right, so moving on to our next story, we actually got a couple of trailers that we're going to go and watch. And the first trailer that I have is going to be regarding a movie that I'm just going to say right now, you'll see later that it is shocking the amount of views that this trailer has been getting, much more than I could possibly ever expect. But the thing is that I have previously talked about this movie before. And I have discussed about how it, there is a bit of potential, but on the other hand, there are some elements that just kind of make it look like a generic animated kids flick. And I was hoping that maybe when we do see more that I could be wrong and that the positive elements could actually shine through. Well, would that be the case? I guess we'll have to go and find out when we watch the trailer for the upcoming Apple Plus animated movie, Luck, or Apple TV Plus. Oh, and by the way, before I continue, I would just like to go and make a quick statement that if you guys would like to go and watch AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast without any interruptions from the ads or anything like that, then remember to go and subscribe to my Twitch channel, AniMat Live. Also, at the same time, don't forget to subscribe on the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel and to follow me onto your to whatever podcast service you're listening to. So with that said and done, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Luck.
Good luck to us both.
I blamed bad luck for everything that's gone wrong in my life.
You sure have bad luck, Sam Greenfield.
Ugh, take that, universe.
Oh!
Until I found an actual lucky penny. Something that could finally turn my life around. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! And what did I do? I flushed it down the toilet.
You flushed my penny down the toilet!
You just talked. Wait! I just need another penny. Ah!
Always with the obnoxiously long password. You
Humans cannot be here.
Where's here?
The land of luck.
I'll leave as soon as you give me another lucky penny.
You best start blending in.
Hello.
Mighty leprechaun Fräulein. Well done, nature.
This is where good luck is born.
A dragon?
She's the only creature that can sniff out bad luck.
There's bad luck here too.
Good luck on top, bad luck on the bottom.
The tiniest amount of bad luck can shut down our entire operation.
Just how unlucky are you?
Oh no. Oh, super duper unlucky.
You'll cause a disaster.
The good luck connection has been severed.
I doomed you and everyone else to a life of bad luck. We need to fix this.
What are you doing here?
Good luck to us both. What about Jeff?
Und steil, yeah, steil, go down that.
I have no words.
And that is Luck, which is going to be coming soon on Apple TV Plus on August 5th. And like I said before, I was absolutely shocked to find the like how popular this trailer has. As I'm recording this, it actually like this trailer right over here has a grand total of 10.8 million views, which honestly, those are numbers that I would expect from major, from like the major animation studios. Like that would be stuff that I would expect. Like those are numbers that I would expect for like an Illumination movie or for like a Pixar film, not for something like this. Like this is absolutely shocking to see like how many views that this is getting and how much attention that this is even getting in the first place. Okay, so to go and clarify a few things, in the teaser trailer when that was released, like one thing, like honestly, it was a mixed reaction where there are things that I loved and that I hated. I like one thing I will say, and I'll get all the positives out of the way. One thing that I really did like is the world building. I loved how in the teaser trailer, they really showed this entire world that's kind of like this facility that is entirely based on luck, that they would really go and emphasize, that they would really play around how it's kind of like a factory where you got these people who are pretty much working behind the scenes to give people either good luck or they would give people some bad luck. And in this trailer in particular, it really does feel like they're kind of expanding on that as well, that we do see a little bit more of this entire world and also introduced to some of the characters, like the big unicorn guy or even like the big dragon boss lady. Like we do have all, like they are introducing us to the characters and they're showing us this entire world, like showing us how good luck and bad luck are separated. And, they don't want to cause too much chaos where like the good and the bad would end up being mixed and like luck would just end up becoming all over the place all around the world. There is all that. So honestly, when it comes to the world building, that I gotta say is actually pretty cool. It's so far pretty cool. And and while this doesn't expand upon it as much as the teaser trailer, like they do present a bunch of good ideas. And then there's also the animation. I think like, so regardless of how you may feel about this trailer, the animation is just spectacular. It actually looks pretty amazing and highly detailed with what they have done here. Like this looks like something that definitely belongs to the big screen and just how meticulously crafted, like just like really going into the details to create this massive world. It's just inspiring to look at it. And like I can't deny like the animation here actually does look beautiful. It looks very nice to, it's a movie that looks great to watch. And by the way, Jonathan has received a gift. Thank you, Jay Monty, for giving out that gift. That is actually very nice of you. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about, yes, when it comes to this, when it comes to what we are seeing so far with Luck in terms of the animation, I think they got it. They really nailed it. That this looks like a beautifully crafted animated feature that does manage to bring an awesome idea to life. But then there was the story, and this is the part where honestly I really didn't like, because we only had a small taste of the story in the teaser trailer. And in there, they pretty much showed what seemed to be like the cliched plot line of the human who enters in this supernatural world, and that was pretty much it. That was like the concept that they showed, and that was the one big drawback from me from that trailer. It feels like narratively it's gonna go in that same boring cliched route that many other animated features have already done before, and not just animated features, but animated content in general that we've seen in like TV shows and cartoons and all that kind of stuff. But then suddenly, with this trailer, with this brand new trailer, it looks like they really emphasize the story. Like, now we know what the narrative is going to be. And not only have they confirmed the worst case that I have with this movie, but it feels like now they've really doubled down on it. Like, not only is this really the plot line of the humans suddenly finding themselves in this supernatural world, but they really go down into the same cliches. Like, the one part that I honestly hated, it was like right in the middle, like actually it's perfectly placed, like it's right over here.
Another lucky penny.
You best start blending in.
Hello.
Like, that part, honestly, it, like, the first time I saw it, it honestly made me groan and roll my eyes. Like, they really are committed to that cliched plot, that they are willing to do the tiresome trope of trying to disguise the human so that they could go and blend into the supernatural world. The same thing that we have seen Boo has done with Monsters, Inc., with what Johnny has done in Hotel Transylvania, and now they're doing the exact same thing, showing us that everybody thinks she's a supersized leprechaun, and apparently, like, things are working as normal, but apparently, due to her involvement, chaos kind of ensues in this supernatural world. Like, it's almost as if they're rehashing the narrative of Monsters, Inc., and they're just updating it where now it's about, that it's a world about luck instead of a world of monsters that live either under the bed or behind the closet and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty much all that, and honestly, in regards of that, it's like, already it's losing me pretty quick. Already, like, even if it has like a cool concept, I feel like the movie, like, as a storytelling medium, is not going to sell me anything that I haven't seen before. And that's the thing that is just so frustrating, is that, like, that basically this amazing concept is being wasted on just like a worthless plot line such as this. It's frustrating. It got so close to becoming great. Like, what would have been like a full-on amazing introduction to Skydance animation, and now it's just being wasted away to just this generic, to what is basically a generic cartoon. And I mean, and I'll be open-minded. Maybe there is a chance in the future that I could totally be wrong, and when I watch the movie, the execution could actually make things up for it, and that they'll find some unique twist to this narrative. Maybe they could go and do that. And maybe, like, they're considering that it wants to also be a bit of a comedy, that they'll have some jokes that they'll incorporate as well that could actually make the experience enjoyable. There is that chance. But so far from what I'm seeing in terms of the trailer that we got here, already this entire thing is just honestly, this entire story is just losing me, and it's not necessarily selling me on why I should watch this movie. Like, yeah, as great as the animation can be, as great as the concept of the world building is, if it doesn't have a great story to go and justify it, then honestly, I don't know if I could fully be on board with this. And I know a lot of people have already asked me in the chat wall. They asked me if I am going to review it, which I can confirm now. Yes, I will. I will go and do so. And keep in mind, like, with all my opinions and stuff like that, like, I haven't even touched upon the aspect of John Lasseter. And that thing is a whole can of worms right over there. Even if, like, in this trailer, they actually did emphasize that it is from John Lasseter. Not necessarily saying his name, but the fact that they spelled out from the creative visionary who brought you Toy Story and Cars. Which I know some people would go and heavily debate on that, especially in terms of the aspect of Cars. But yeah, that's like a whole different thing right over there. But like, I'm just talking about, like, I'm not even discussing about that. I'm just discussing in regards to what we are seeing so far with the narrative. And it just feels like there are great ideas that are just attached to this garbage script. And will this turn out to be a good movie? Will this turn out to be a memorable movie? That I honestly don't know. I really don't know what to expect out of this. Maybe it'll turn out better than what I'm thinking right now. Maybe it'll suck. But I mean, like, for me so far, again, I feel like it kind of just doubled down on my mixed bag feeling. I mean, the animation is undeniably fantastic. The concept is real, the concept is fantastic, and it definitely is worth turning into an animated feature. But the story is not selling it to me. In fact, the story is kind of detracting me from being enthusiastic to go and watch this film. So that's honestly all my thoughts onto this. Again, if you are curious as to when Luck is going to be coming out, it will be available exclusively on Apple TV Plus on August 5th. And with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall right now, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about Luck? How do you guys think about the trailer that we've seen here? Are you guys a lot more positive than me and you're excited to see this movie come out? Or are you a lot more pessimistic where you think this will easily be among one of the worst animated films of the year? Let me know what you think. All right, let's see what we got. I am honestly very mixed about this movie. On one hand, I think the animation is very well done and the world building looks very interesting. But on the other hand, the story feels absolutely cliched with the story of a human entering into the supernatural world and just feels like it's been done over and over and over again. But overall, I'm not that excited. Also, another reason why I'm not looking forward to this movie is a certain individual involved and the controversy that will be unleashed. Oh boy, yeah, I know, I'm not ready for that either, guys. Like, I know I've said this several times before, but I'm just not ready for it. Let's see now, taking Lasseter out of the equation, I just gotta say that this trailer looks, as I described Jurassic World Dominion, aggressively okay. The story, it's okay. The comedy, it's okay. The voice acting, it's okay. The concept, that's a little inventive, I won't lie. I'll check it out to see if it'll end up being either great or terrible, but for now, it's just okay. Have I mentioned yet that it looks okay? I don't know, man. You have to be a little bit more descriptive. You gotta be a little bit more detailed in what you think is okay. All right, let's see now. So yeah, Luck looks like something Pixar would make in the 2000s. Yeah, this film is going to be a mixed bag for a variety of reasons, and best it looks okay with its nice animation and interesting idea about Luck. I'll catch up on it later when I get Apple TV Plus again. Also, Sam is kind of cute. Okay, I won't lie. Like, Sam, she seems all right. She seems good. I mean, like, I wouldn't say, she's no Taya, but I mean, I could see why, like, some people would be attracted to her. She does look pretty cute. I won't lie. Let's see what else we got here. This movie feels like it has a very strong concept, but it is ruined by a weak execution. While the animation is really beautiful and the world building is nice with the world of the good luck and bad luck, the story and characters are nothing special without any unique twists. Also, I feel that one of the biggest factors of this movie's success or failure will be John Lasseter's involvement in this, and if people are ready to forgive him or not, or whether he has become a better person. Or you know, one thing that you should be ready for, the frickin' culture war aspect. You know you got those anti-woke YouTubers that are going to be ready to use this as part of their entire anti-woke narrative and their entire culture war narrative, and they will be spamming the ever-living crap on this in order to take down Disney, in order to try to emphasize to say that Disney is stupid for firing John Lasseter, and now he's making an absolute masterpiece like Luck on Apple TV+. That's what Disney gets for being woke. You know those videos are going to be freaking coming, guys. So that's just one thing that I'm not excited to see, but I know it's going to happen. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? This trailer looks good. Not great per se, but it did manage to get some interest. The animation looks very detailed like Disney, and Sam and Bob look like likable characters, but the story feels like the same concept we have already had in the past. However, the movie also involved with John Lasseter producing the movie. I'm not sure how it will affect everyone due to the stuff that he has done, but overall, this movie did get an interest out of me, but I wouldn't get my hopes up too high about it. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, I'll go and read one more comment before we move on to our next one. In my opinion, I have no opinion on this film. Oh, well, that's interesting. If you take out the John Lasseter controversy out of the way, funny that they're promoting him without saying his name, Luck just feels very generic and harmless. While the concept around it is interesting, the execution of it is very mediocre, the comedy isn't that good, and the trailer shows 3/4 of the story. The animation, while looking pretty good, the visual design feel like it's one of those mobile games advertised you see on TikTok. I'll just wait and see. Yeah, I guess so. I guess in a way. Like, she does, you know, honestly, especially with the bad luck that she has presented, you know, it's kind of funny because it kind of does look like a scenario where you have to, like, try to click on the things, but it just doesn't necessarily work out. It's like, you're witnessing a game that is being played by an incredibly stupid player where they don't know, like, basic logic and they end up screwing up on the simplest of things. You know, I understand that little vibe that you are getting right over there. But yeah, once again, though, if you are actually curious to go and see Luck, then keep in mind that it will be available exclusively on Apple TV Plus on August 5th. Okay, now let's go and jump onto our next story that we have over here, or the next trailer that we do have, because this one, I gotta say, is actually very interesting. And keep in mind, this is all gonna be from the perspective of someone who has never seen the show. I've honestly never watched an episode of it. I have seen some clips of it, which are very impressive. Excuse me. I was trying to hold back a burp, but I guess I guess my system got the best of me. But anyways, in this case over here, I've never really seen the show. I have seen some clips of it, but still, I feel like it would be interesting to talk about over here. So with that said, let us now go and check out the trailer for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Sunday. It's those pesky turtles.
License and registration.
Leo, we're coming.
We're forever. I know how this sounds. I need you to believe me because I'm from the future. Let's start over. My name is Casey Jones. In the future, an alien race decimated the planet. Master Leonardo gave me a mission. Find the key, stop the Krang.
Future Boy is really from the future?
Mine? Tonight,
With this key, we shall free them to lay waste to this world!
No! It started!
They're here!
Join me. Sister, brother, time for us to finish making this universe in the image of Krang.
What did they do to us?
We've lost our mystic powers.
Right now, the Krang are using that key to bring in something that will destroy the world. We lost.
We've still got a ninja's greatest weapon.
Hope. You're more powerful than the people of this planet, yet you're not human. What are you?
We're not like everyone else on this planet. We are.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
If this isn't the poster shot, someone's getting fired. They're on the move, according to the subcutaneous tracker I put on Raph.
Wait, does that mean you put trackers on all of us?
No. No. Of course I did. Int.
And that is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, which coincidentally is going to be coming out on Netflix again on August 5th. And again, I just want to go and emphasize that I have not watched Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've never actually seen an episode. I have seen some clips of it of some of the more action-packed moments of the series. So this is honestly going to be from the perspective of a newcomer. And I just got to say, just from watching this trailer, oh, dang, boy! Dang! That was freaking epic! Like, even though I haven't watched the show, I am definitely familiar with many of the concepts of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And in this case over here, like, it feels like a combination of, like, several different sci-fi elements all, like, fuse into one movie. Like, you got the aspect of Terminator, where Casey Jones comes from the future, and he goes back in time to warn the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles about, like, certain doom that would be coming. And then you got a little bit of the Thing with the Krang entering into the scene. And then, of course, you got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And in here, they definitely are selling on the action. Like, they really are emphasizing on the animation style and how they are being used to go and fight against the Krang and fight against this major enemy. Like, one thing that I can say about this that, like, it looks really well done, at least with this trailer, is that they managed to portray it as, like, epically big. Like, it does manage to sell on the fact that you feel like this is indeed going to be the end of the world. That this does feel like this is this iteration of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' biggest foe yet. And that really they are entering into the realms of a matter of life and death for everyone on Earth. And on top of that, you do get that major aspect, like that major size aspect of how, like, the situation is. You also do have the animation itself. Like, one of the things that I've seen from time to time in the clips of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that whenever there is a moment that they want to present as epic, or is that like a moment that really is like something that you really got to pay attention and that it is very significant to the series, that's when they really bump up the animation quality that it almost looks like it belongs on the big screen. And you actually do get a good amount of those shots with this. Like, you do get a lot of moments where with the action, oh my god, like it almost enters into like the Samurai Jack level of like stylized epic animation, but also like you have some smooth and, you know, like you also got a bit of the smoothness of how the characters would move, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And I think it could be safe to say that this could be the best, like at the very least, the best looking animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie yet. Like, so far, the animation, they're absolutely selling on it. And also, like, just the action, especially, like, they definitely did sell on the action with a lot of the scenes that's going on. And you do see the moments where, like, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are doing, like, the best they can. But at the same time, moments that they could be possibly losing, that, you know, they're being faced with a real formidable foe. And that you could see the elements where, like, they do stay true within, like, the realms of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore, where now, like, they got the Krang that's entering the scene, and, like, you see their own unique interpretation, how they could be a lot more threatening compared to some of the previous versions of Krang that we've had in the past. So, coming from an outsider's perspective of this movie in particular, honestly, this looks amazing. And honestly, it shocks me of the ratio that we are seeing so far with the likes and dislikes, where you got 5,000, like on this video from the YouTube channel Netflix After School, like you got 5,000 likes, but at the same time, you also got 2,500 dislikes. Like, I don't know what really is there to hate on this. Again, coming from an outsider's perspective, but honestly, this looks phenomenal. Like, this really does, you know, honestly, I feel like this is going to be something that, like, not only that Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans will be satisfied with, but I wouldn't be surprised if this can be something that newcomers can, like, jump in and could actually watch this. That this could be something that, like, maybe it could be welcoming to newcomers. Like, I myself could just jump in without watching any of the episodes in the past and just see this and be like, oh wow, this really is something. Like, even if I don't have much of the context of the original of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this does look like something that could be absolutely amazing. So overall, I gotta say, I am extremely impressed with this trailer, much more so than I was with Luck. And honestly, like, if I, like, outside of, like, reviewing purposes or whatever, if I would have the choice to watch either Luck or Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, I would honestly go with the latter. That one looks like it has much more of a chance that I would have a great time and that I would have a great movie with it, and something that, like, I'll more likely remember this much more than Luck. So if you guys are interested in checking out Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, then keep in mind that it is coming soon on Netflix on August 5th. So with that said, I'd like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, what do you all think about the trailer that we have seen with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie? Are you guys excited about it? Do you have your doubts? And especially, if you have seen the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I would love to know your opinion on it. So let me know what you think. All right, let's see what we got here. When the trailer was released, I didn't care all that much to watch it, but after watching it right now, I might actually just watch it. For me, I've only seen an episode or two of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and don't remember all that much about them or TMNT in general. But the trailer looks awesome, the action is amazing, the animation looks gorgeous, and the comedy actually worked for me. I'll probably wait and see how the reactions are, but if they are great, then I'll absolutely check it out. All right, let's see what else we got here. This trailer looks really impressive. I've only seen some episodes of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought it was pretty good. Thus, this movie has potential. The story is really engaging, the animation is incredibly well done, and the action is awesome. So overall, I'm excited. Also, I'm wondering what Jax Blade and Andre the Black Nerd would think of this movie. Oh, I'm sure they're pretty hyped up. I mean, considering how major TMNT fans they are, I think they're going to keep an eye on this one. Let's see. To quote the pilot episode, this trailer is accidentally impressive. I've seen a few episodes of the show and used it as a basis for a movie, And me and my friends are we're using it as a basis for a movie me and my friends are writing, and as such, the trailer looks sick. The action looks wicked, the depiction of Casey Jones is interesting, and I like the almost apocalyptic setting of it all. So this is going to be a must-watch for me, and I can't lie. I can't hear Haley Joel Osment's voice without imagining a dog cow man and a duck running alongside him. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to not imagine the Sora image, especially with especially the fact that like he comes out of a portal. You might like some people are just gonna be wondering like why didn't he come out of a keyhole? Where does this fit in the Kingdom Hearts universe? I don't get it. All right, let's see now. This trailer looks pretty, as I quote, epic. Even though I haven't watched the show myself, this really piqued my interest. The animation looks very smooth, and the comeback of Casey Jones and Krang, I'm pretty surprised that they made the Technodrome look like an actual alien ship made of flesh. I hope this movie will do better than the 2010 live-action movies, because those were garbage. Also, are you familiar with the 1980s TMNT series? To be very honest, the most that I am familiar with TMNT is through the YouTubers that adore TMNT. Like back when I used to watch like the Angry Video Game Nerd or the Nostalgia Critic, and even some of Andre the Black Nerd, that's the most info that I have of TMNT. Like the most that I've personally watched it would actually be from seeing the 2003 show. And I haven't seen all of it, but I have seen a significant amount. Let's see what other comments do we have here. Although Luck may be a decent movie at best, but after watching the rise of the TMNT movie, sign me up. The animation is very impressive and the action is a lot of fun. Although I'm not huge into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this movie could be a lot of fun to watch. Move over Luck, I'll maybe checking out the latter when it comes out on August 5th. Cowabunga. All right, and I think I'm going to go and read one more comment before we move on to the finale. Like you, Matt, I have not watched Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. Putting that aside, holy crap, this animation is like a 5-star meal to my eyes. It's honestly some of the greatest 2D animation I've seen in a long time, and I am just loving the alien designs. The characters are quite fun as well, and the story looks like it will be quite intense with the Krang invasion. Consider me really hyped. Well, it looks like we do have a favorite over here, at least compared to Luck. So if you are excited to check out Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, then keep in mind that it will be coming soon on Netflix on August 5th. And now, folks, the moment that we have all been waiting for has finally arrived. Yes, it is the grand finale, and for this grand finale, we will be having a celebration for a big anniversary for a beloved animated feature. And I know that in 2022, there have been a significant amount of noteworthy anniversaries to go and talk about. We could be discussing about the 10th anniversary of something like Wreck-It Ralph or Brave. We've already talked about the 20th anniversary of Lilo and Stitch. We could also be discussing about the 25th anniversary of Hercules, or even really go back in time into the 90s, and we could talk about rather it be the 30th anniversary of Ferngully, the 30th anniversary of Disney's Aladdin, or what happened not long ago, the 40th anniversary of The Secret of NIMH, or even the 50th anniversary of Fritz the Cat. Now, there have been a lot of noteworthy animation anniversaries, but the one that I shall be focusing on specifically is going to be about the 30th anniversary of one of the greatest animated masterpieces of all time, Beauty and the Beast. Now, you might be thinking, well, AniMat, that doesn't necessarily make sense. Didn't we already have the 30th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast like several months ago, back in like November of 2021? Well, yes. But in the mind of Disney, they think it's not too late to go and celebrate that anniversary. And specifically with a live televised event. Yes, ABC has announced a 2-hour live-action animation special called Beauty and the Beast, a 30th celebration. I think that's the name. Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Beauty and the Beast, a 30th celebration, which will be a mix of watching the classic animated feature by Disney and watching some live performances, very similar to what they have previously done for the 30th anniversary of The Little Mermaid. And with this one in particular, while we don't necessarily have a confirmation to the cast as of yet, they will be bringing on board John M. Chu, the director of In the Heights and the upcoming Wicked movies. He will be executive producing the feature, as well as getting Hamish Hamilton to go and direct the film. And to give you a little bit more details to be familiar with Hamish Hamilton, to read you from my source here on The Hollywood Reporter, it states, the latter is best known for helming award shows, including the Emmys and the Grammys, as well as the Super Bowl halftime show, ABC's The Little Mermaid Live, and a pair of Disney quarantine-era sing-alongs. The special will be available to stream on December 16th on Disney+. And also, it is worth noting that the day before, December 15th, that's when the special will have its big premiere on ABC. And we got a couple of quotes that I would like to go and read here, the first of which will be from Craig Erwich, the president of Hulu Originals and ABC Entertainment, as he states, Beauty and the Beast is a timeless story, and we're so fortunate to work with creative mastermind John M. Chu and veteran director Hamish Hamilton to bring a modern twist to this beloved classic for an unforgettable night of Disney magic. Stacked with unforgettable performances, this will be a must-see special event for fans of the original and for new generations being introduced to this cherished tale. We also got another quote coming from John M. Chu himself as he states, Beauty and the Beast was always a game-changing cinematic experience for me. When the animated movie came out, I watched it multiple times in the first weekend. It showed me the outer limits of what animated artists and storytellers could achieve. So the fact that I get to executive produce a tribute to all the creatives that made this masterpiece through our Electric Somewhere company is a dream I didn't even think it was possible. With world-class creatives and talent to reinterpret the classic musical numbers with a few surprises, I can't wait for the audience in person and at home to experience what we have in store for them. It's a true celebration of creativity. So yeah, apparently at the end of this year, we are going to have a live televised event that is honoring the 30th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast, despite the fact that they are releasing it after its 31st anniversary. Okay, now, I just want to go and make a big clarification that I have never been a fan of these live televised specials. It always seems like usually they would turn out to be big disasters. Like, I remember the Peter Pan one with Christopher Walken turned out to be a major, it turned out to be such a hilarious disaster. Even when watching it, it's like one of those so bad it's good type of entertainments. And then there have been some horror stories I've heard of some other live shows that really did not go well, including The Sound of Music, and I think the Rocky Horror Picture Show one did not do well. But then there was The Little Mermaid. And with that one, I personally considered it to probably be the best one of the entire bunch. And I know some people would argue with me about that, mainly because of the fact that most of the time, you're just watching the original animated movie. And yeah, that's actually the reason why it is better than most others, because it actually delivers me the movie that I want to actually watch. Because whenever I would watch those live televised crap of like Peter Pan or whatever, it makes me sit there and wonder, why am I watching this when I could just watch the movie that is a way superior version? And that's exactly what they have done here. Now, despite the fact that the big highlights like the musical numbers are all live televised events, from there, honestly, the musical numbers are not animated, but at least the rest of it is actually, it is actually the animated movie that we all know and love. You know, at least we do get the thing that, you know, that we would rather want to watch instead. Now, granted, I will say that the live action stuff from that Little Mermaid televised event, like, yeah, the live action scenes, they can be pretty hilariously bad, especially with the puppets. Like, you got Alia Cravalho doing her best Ariel, and then you just got this random flounder puppet that's just going around like, just like randomly this randomly out of nowhere, like out of place Muppet, kind of like ruining the mood a little bit with just the sheer goofiness of the entire scenario. Now, granted, I will say, there have been a few like pretty decent musical numbers, and that's especially because of the actors who would play them. But other than that, though, yeah, it's kind of dumb, but it is to be expected from live televised events, and at least we did get the original animated movie. And it looks like we're going to get the exact same treatment here with Beauty and the Beast, where they're going to go and mostly show the animated movie we all know and love, except the musical numbers are going to be live televised, they're going to be a live televised event. They're going to be performing live on a stage in front of an audience and in front of worldwide television. That's what they're mainly going to go and do. And honestly, just thinking about the fact that they're going to go with Beauty and the Beast, I don't know how the heck they're going to go and pull that off. I mean, granted, yes, it is indeed possible to go and do so, and the Broadway show has definitely proved that. But I don't think we are going to get the Broadway version of Beauty and the Beast. I don't think that's going to be the case. Honestly, I feel like they're going to go and try to do their own unique twist, that they want to do their own unique live special effects and stuff like that. That isn't necessarily going to work out well. I'm just warning you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they would somehow find a way to include a bunch of like puppet characters. Like maybe not with the main ones, like with Lumiere or Cogsworth or Mrs. Potts, but there are definitely going to be some like puppet plates and puppet dishes and puppet, like a lot of like random puppetry is going to be involved that's going to seem out of place and also hilarious at the same time. Now, granted, I think honestly with this kind of thing it would be doable, but honestly I feel like with what they're going to do here, it's going to be like, at least in my opinion, I feel like there's a very solid chance that it's going to be somewhere between the original animated feature and the 2017 live action remake, where, yeah, it's a much better alternative to just watch the entire animated movie. But then again, it'll definitely be much more palatable than the 2017 feature. Like, I'm sure they're going to hire a Belle that could, actually sing, that could actually do justice to the Alan Menken songs. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But I can imagine that they would, honestly, I could definitely imagine it'll definitely be more palatable than that, mainly because of the fact that most of it is going to indeed be the animated features. But also very strange as well is that how are they even going to like establish, how are they even going to pull off many of the settings? Because like it's not just all in the castle, but what about like in Belle's village, like with like the Belle song at the beginning, or even with the mob song near the end. Like there's going to be a lot, like it's going to be questionable with how they're going to pull it off. But with these live televised events, I don't know how the fridge it's going to go. I don't know what they are going to do with it, but hey, they got a hit with their previous live televised stuff, like with The Little Mermaid. I guess they want to do the same thing with Beauty and the Beast. But then again, it does have me wondering, like, this is honestly a little bit weird. The fact that they're immediately doing Beauty and the Beast when technically it is kind of too late to do Beauty and the Beast. Like, why do that movie when technically you could do Aladdin? And that's the thing that doesn't make sense, because technically this year is indeed going to be the 30th anniversary of Aladdin. Why don't you actually go and do that kind of treatment with that film where it actually does make perfect sense that it is going to be the 30th anniversary of that feature film. And you could do all the live action and animated stuff that you could show most of the movie, and then with the musical numbers, like you could do live action, and you could try to pull off something that is similar to the Aladdin Broadway show, or even bring in some of the Broadway actors to go and play the characters, because I can tell you right now, like, it's going to be tough to top either Robin Williams or James Monroe Englehart for their performances on the Genie. So honestly, that's the weird thing. It's like, well, why are you doing Beauty and the Beast now? Like, okay, like, I get it. And like, I know maybe some people could say that maybe they had this in the works for a while and COVID kind of put their plans behind, but now that you know, the situation is technically getting better with COVID, or that people are a lot more loose when it comes to COVID restrictions, they can do something like this now. So maybe they planned to do this last year and they want to do this today. Like, that could be, you know, that could definitely be the case. And maybe next year we're going to end up having the 30th anniversary special of Aladdin. That could highly be possible. And then they could get back on track in 2024 if they want to go and do the same thing again with The Lion King. But overall, though, I just feel like it's funny that now it looks like we kind of have a new genre of Disney remakes. Like, yeah, it's already enough that we have those live action remakes of the Disney classics, but now they're going to do another version in which Disney is going to go and they would take the animated classics, show most of it, but replace the musical numbers with a live televised event. Apparently, they're forming a brand new genre with it. And I mean, yeah, it's all speculation now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're also going to do this with Aladdin and with The Lion King. Or, you know, I'm just going to say this right now. You know what would be very interesting that they would do with this? That they would do this blend of like live action televised event and animation as well. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I know some people might tell me right now, don't give them any ideas. But at this point, honestly, I could see that working though. I could actually see that working where they can do like some kind of live televised special where they try to do like some kind of Broadway version of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and then they would go and show the actual movie. I feel like that could have some potential right there. All right, so with that said, though, those are my thoughts right now on the whole Beauty and the Beast situation. And with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you guys think of the entire situation? What do you guys think of Beauty and the Beast, a 30th celebration? Are you guys excited for this? Are you guys a little bit hesitant? Are you a little more cautious? Let me know what you all think about that. Also, on a side note, I just want to ask, you guys can still hear me, right? Like, I just want to make sure that there's no like technical difficulties or anything like that. Oh God, is my internet good? Oh no. Oh crap. Oh no, please don't tell me. Oh crap, oh no, I think I'm losing internet. Why now? Why now? I mean, I'm just ending, like, I'm just finishing all this. Why is the internet gone? Why is the internet always gone? Fudge nabbit, oh no. Yeah, I think the internet, oh god, my internet connection just suddenly died. Crap, what do I do now? What the fridge do I do? Wait a minute, I might have an idea. Hold on a sec. There is a way that I could salvage it. Yes, there we go. All right, so let me just go and reconnect myself. Oh boy, I don't know if the people on Twitch are actually seeing me do this, but I'm gonna go and do my best. I'll try to connect through LTE, and maybe that's going to work. Maybe it won't. I have no freaking clue, but I am doing the best I can in this scenario because yeah, holy crap, it looks like I just lost internet on all this, and I can't have the chat wall. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Okay, it's reconnecting. Okay, I got the internet back so far, so, okay, yeah, okay, yep, that's a major problem. Hold on a sec. Can you guys see me yet. Oh, crap. Why is my internet broken? Why now? Why must my internet break? And we were doing so well. Crap. Nope. Okay, people are not seeing me in all this. That is not good. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, hold on. I don't know what to do, considering that we are in the tail end of things. And I'm just going to go and say right now, for those of you in the future, you can leave your comments below on... actually, no, you know what? Actually, hold on. I got a plan. Technically, I'm still recording. If you want to leave your opinion on Beauty and the Beast special, let me know what you think. I'll read it, and you can see my reaction on YouTube later. Oh wait, it's back? Wait, some people are saying it's back. Wait, what? Oh crap, we're back! We're back live! Oh crap! Holy crap, we're back in our okay, we're back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, good. Holy crap, sorry folks for that little technical difficulties right over there, but I am glad that that we have returned. Okay, so anyways, you know, it's kind of ironic, people, because I was pretty much capping it off and I was about to pass on the mic to you guys, and I want to know right now, what do you all think about Beauty and the Beast, a 30th celebration? Let me go and let me know your opinion on all this entire situation. I'm sure that with this little delay, you can go and put out your thoughts right now. Okay, let me know what you think in the chat wall. All right, write it down. Okay, we do have some comments, actually. Let's see. Well, I don't know about you. I think this might turn out to be pretty good. Like, I did enjoy Mermaid. Granted, it wasn't perfect, but there were some things to enjoy. I wish Ali Cravalho would be in the remake instead of Holly, along with Shaggy. He was a great Sebastian. Oh, I remember. I think it was I don't know if it was in the Broadway version or if it's in that one. Like, one of the Sebastians were like, boy, you better kiss that girl. Anyways, but overall, I think this might be something fun, and it could work out. Who knows? Okay, this could have some potential. I personally do agree that Little Mermaid live event is one of the better live televised events, and with Beauty and the Beast, if they do something similar, it could turn out to be decent. I can imagine they would do puppets for the objects, so overall, we shall see. Personally, I hope they would do something similar to the Beauty and the Beast show at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I can see it work. Oh yeah, because I can totally imagine that thing would definitely need an update. Let's see. I don't know about this one. I've already seen The Little Mermaid live when it aired on ABC, and I thought it was mediocre, but wasn't bad. As what I saw with The Sound of Music or A Christmas Story live. Oh yeah, that's another terrible one. As those are the worst that I've seen so far. With this news, need to set my expectations low, and I don't think it will be good, but I could be wrong. As long as it's not one of those live shows I mentioned, it's better not be bad. Okay? I have never watched any of these live action specials, so I don't really have anything to say about this, but it seems that I could just skip those in general, since when I did mention this news on the chat prior to the stream, everyone's reaction to that is just, oh no. I mean, technically it is true. You can always just watch the animated movie. That's always an option, you know. Not many people got the memo with the 2017 film, but you can get it with this. Let's see now. Let's see. What does everyone here have to say about the Wiz event? Honestly, I haven't seen it myself, but I did hear it was actually one of the better ones, so I will give it that. And I think I'll go and read one more comment before we go and cap this off, and before my internet screws me over again. Even though that Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary was a year ago, I am curious about that live televised similar to Beauty and the Beast. What's next? A Lion King televised event, or even better, a Shrek musical televised event? That could be in the realm of possibility, but that will depend if Universal would want to do it. And with that said, that should do it for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. What a fun-filled episode that we've had today, and let's hope we can keep that momentum going for next week. So with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. And with all that said and done, see you later, dudes.